Just some quick housekeeping notes as I kind of jump back into things. We are considering moving a bunch of these readings over to our Rawn collective page and away from my main page. I'm still back and forth on that just because this page is verified, which helps with credibility, knowing that this is a safe space and all that kind of stuff. We're still kind of mulling that over, so just make sure that you're following that page as well as our broadcast channel. That way you can get any of those updates for where things may be moving as we kind of shift into this new season and how we're being called to serve the collective. As always, take what resonates, leave what does not. We are going to start doing these from more of a neutral space, really honoring that duality and the polarities, and honoring the fact that we both have the masculine feminine energy, whether you identify as one more than the other, whether you are the masculine or feminine in your connection. We're just gonna see what comes through in a more of a neutral space here. I will say that the masculine energy predominantly is what's calling me back out. There's been something for the past few days that I don't want to say feels choked up, but it feels like the masculine energy particularly has something that needs to be communicated right now, and I'm being asked to serve as a channel for that. So that's why we're kind of coming back with this reading and jumping back into things. And we really want to focus on the fact that our power and control is only over ourselves and our journey and the healing that we do. And it is by our work and our example that we see those effects ripple out into our life, by simply being who we are, setting that example, and trying our very best to live from a place of authenticity and truth. So we're going to jump in with some messages. It is on my heart, mind, and soul to get more of these decks made up so that they are available to any of those out there who read for themselves or others. That way you can have these channel messages and these tools available to you. All right, what does the masculine specifically want to communicate? What are we being called to communicate on behalf of the masculine? How is this so easy for you? And again, this could be you in your masculine energy. This could be your masculine counterpart. We're going to start focusing on those conscious couples, those divine partnerships. What else does the masculine want to communicate? I don't trust myself not to mess things up. And one more from this deck. Oh, they're gonna start making me work for it. We're back 5 minutes and I'm scared of letting go. Yeah, see? I didn't even look at what number this deck was and I heard 4. Can't make it up. It's loud. Thank you for your patience with me. One more. Or 2. My regrets have me paralyzed. Will you be mine? That last one seems more of a separate message here. So, how is this easy for you? I don't trust myself not to mess things up. I'm scared of letting go. Thank you for your patience with me. My regrets have me paralyzed. This seems like a very reminiscent energy coming from the masculine, and already this throat chakra is like wavering. They're having such a hard time communicating what their journey is, what it is that they've been through. Just a difficult time articulating what it is that they want to communicate about what they've been through, what they are currently going through, how they're healing, how it's shaped them, how their actions and behaviors have impacted you. They have a desire to have that accountability and to bring that forward to you. They just don't know how, and they don't know how to quite let go of the past, not just things between you and them, but those things which have conditioned them and made them who they are, because that's all they've known. They're scared of letting go of that version of themselves, because then they don't know who they are. And that fear is what's kind of putting them in this place of being paralyzed, that fight, freeze, where that stress and that disempowerment just has them in that state of, I don't know how to make a move here where I don't sabotage either myself or the connection or what have you, that those patterns and that conditioning and the way that they've shown up and all of those things have had such a hold on them, and they see you growing, shifting, changing, almost like it's nothing. We know that it's not. We know that you are doing your own work, and that it is hard and heavy and deep and dark, and you feel alone in it. But from where they're standing, they admire you so much. They see it as something that is so easy for you. Like easy breezy. And by the way, I keep hearing my girl, my girl, my girl, which I think is why that one came out. So if that movie has a significant meaning for you, perhaps that inner childhood healing and those conditionings and that kind of energy, or even that playful energy of if you grew up together or you wish you grew up together, getting back to that childlike innocence and healing through those things, because that part of them is just so scared. But with that, there's this desire and this gratitude for your patience with them as they go through this process, as you go through this process of healing. Why is the masculine collective having such a hard time articulating this? Six of Materials. So it's about creating and manifesting this new reality. And it's really no shocker, because that is kind of the feminine's role, is to, give of her vision, and the masculine takes and materializes it. So perhaps the communication needs to come from the feminine, not in a direct way, but in a sharing of what that way forward is, because they don't trust themselves. And the feminine's very beautiful role is to lead spiritually, not materially, not in this physical realm, but in the spiritual sense, in doing her own work and creating her own life and doing what she can in her own space and time to manifest the life that she wants. And by her leading by example, by her taking those steps, he is able to then give to her. He is able to then mirror and reciprocate that energy. And it seems like that is what he is seeking, your guidance, your wisdom, that feminine intuition at this time, is so that he knows what and where and how to utilize this energy that is transmuting and put it towards creating something new. He wants to let go of this version of himself. He wants to step into this new version of himself, and he, again, thankful of your patience as he tries to figure this out, but he very much needs that kind of, that star, that beacon, that waypoint guiding him forward, so that he knows how, when, and where to materialize this energy, not just for himself or for you, but for the both of you. That's way too much. Get some clarity. Temperance and Lovers, yeah. This is all about this internalized rebalancing within each of yourselves as well as your connection. Temperance here literally symbolizes masculine, feminine here, taking the good, the bad, and the ugly and filtering them back and forth so that they come to a state of equilibrium, to a state of balance, to a state of harmony, where things are back in flow state, where the shadow and the light work back and forth seamlessly. They have their roles. There are nothing to be afraid of, to be scared of. Even though many times we get disempowered by them, they have a role in showing us where that conditioning is, where that we need to grow and shift so that we can come into a place of harmony within ourselves and to bring that outward into our partnerships, our families, our service, whatever that may be for you. And again, if you are the feminine, and even if you're not, stepping out into that and leading by example and doing your work inspires not only your partner and your family and your communities, but it really helps the entire collective be able to step up and ascend into that energy where we're leading by example and feeding off each other in a more positive way. And this energy, that's where it's all coming, even with the Six of Materials, is that, and the Temperance card is rebalancing that energy. Someone has to take the first step. And if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not going to let go, then no one is moving ahead. And the feminine energy leads in the spiritual, and the masculine energy leads in the material, and they need each other to be able to take a vision and to co-create it into this life. And whether that is internalized inside of you or within your partnership, it's important to see how that's playing out, because everything within inside of yourself is going to be mirrored without. So where are you scared of letting go of past versions of yourself? Where are you not fully trusting yourself to sabotage your connection? That is something that I've been moving through tremendously the past couple months, is being very aware of my self-sabotaging patterns. And it was very sneaky on my part. My shadow was so good at this, and it still is, and it's so hard to catch. But it will use values and boundaries and morals and things like that and kind of twist and tweak so that the ego has control. The soul doesn't want control. The soul wants experiences. Those things are the healthy part of the ego, where they're trying to protect you from harm and keep you in alignment. And it's a beautiful thing to be aware of that. But you have to be very cautious of that point where the ego is seeking to control a narrative and control the love, that conditional love of saying, I'm not going to do this unless this happens. That's helping no one. So how is that showing up for you? How are you and your self-sabotaging patterns coming up? Where do you feel paralyzed in your life? Because whatever area that is, if you can put your energy, time, and focus on that, into clearing that up and figuring out where you're misaligned with yourself, or what that fear is and why you're afraid to step forward, if you can clear through that block, it will help the masculine, internally or externally, be able to do the same and be able to take those powerful, truly divine masculine steps forward. How can the feminine collective inspire and spiritually lead the masculine? Hierophant. Love this. We are in Virgo season. Virgo energy all day long. I don't think I have Virgo on my chart, but I live in a state of seclusion because of my gifts. It's who I am. I'm okay with it. I like being alone. It's weird. Digressing here. The Hierophant. Take the time away that you need. There was a post that I shared recently, or maybe just commented on, and it was about the masculine's need to disconnect to be able to lead himself, to be able to ascertain what is going on in his own world, his mental, emotional world. And at the time, it was something that I really needed to hear, because my masculine had taken a step back and didn't communicate that. But I know what he's doing and why. It irks me, because it's like, please just communicate. But as we can see, it's very hard for the masculine to do that. So holding that space, if your masculine has stepped back into an introspective space, and utilizing that time to do so for yourself, no matter who you are, what you are. Take that time to step back into yourself, to disconnect, to turn off the phone, the TV, to tell people in your life that you need some time to reflect and to be with yourself and to work through your things. There is no shame in that. It's very hard in the world that we live in, because there's so much demand that's put on us. But if we can even start communicating just that, hey, I need a day or two to myself. I need an hour to myself. That's something that I've always been very vocal about in raising my son. And having been in a household where everybody was just on top of each other and everybody was together all the time, and being somebody who needs a lot of alone time, I had to learn how to communicate that. And I had to learn how to teach my son to have that interdependence and do it for himself, but also honor the fact when I needed to step away and to do my journaling or whatever the process is that I'm leaning into at the time. And now he's 9, 10. He's at the point where if he sees me not doing that, not taking that time out, he's growing into such a beautiful young divine masculine. I'm so proud of him. He will tell me, hey, I haven't seen you doing this. I asked him last night if he wanted to do yoga, and he looked at me and he's like, you haven't done yoga in a long time. And I'm like, I know. And I know that I need to get back into a lot of my different processes that I've stepped away from, but also honoring the fact that the season that I've been in, I needed different processes. I needed time to disconnect in a whole new way. And perhaps that's something that you need too. Perhaps the processes that you've had to work through these things are no longer working. Perhaps you need to step back and take that time. And that was in my last reading. It's very hard to sit back and do nothing. The feminine X particularly has a really hard time doing that. The masculine is a little bit easier, but to step back and do nothing, and to know that everything and everyone in your life is going to still be there. It's kind of teetering on FOMO, but everything will be there. And this is something that I tell young and new parents all the time. The dishes will be there. The work will be there. The laundry will be there. Take the time that you need to get your mental, emotional health on point first. Carve out 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes at the very least for yourself every day to have that. And that's a really big push that I'm in, even with just this space and being able to come here and serve, because that allows me to work through a lot of the energy, to be able to channel this energy and reflect and share my takeaways and my lessons and my journey and the things that I've moved through to further help and lead and guide you as a divine feminine. What do we need to know about moving forward from this space? 10 of Materials. You are manifesting a beautiful new reality, a very powerful, very abundant reality that's leading to a legacy. And I absolutely love this, because this is so in alignment with just the vision of my heart, even though, that's grown and shifted and changes over the years, and that's really hard, and you need to hold space for that in your own life. But focus on that vision. Focus on your why. What do you feel your purpose is? We are constantly pushed this idea that our purposes need to be these grand, big things, but really they're not. It's the smaller things, and I'm really starting to have a really deep appreciation for that, especially in how I'm being called forward now and how I'm being asked to shift and lead and guide the collective. But the most impact that you can have is at home, is with your immediate connections, your partnerships, your family, your children, the people who you interact with on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. Those are the places where you are needed the most. In the age of social media, we've been given this illusion that we need to create these big communities and we need to go viral and we need to touch all of these people all the time, constantly. But truly, I see that now as kind of being a detriment, because in trying to serve everyone, we serve no one. And worst of all, we don't serve ourselves. And I see so many coaches and readers and spiritualists burning out because they're trying to serve everyone instead of just, pulling back and serving close to home, especially the feminine. Whatever your calling is, honor it, but also honor your needs to pull back and find a way to find that balance for yourself in how to fuel yourself and give to others. But you cannot give from an empty cup. And I think this too is something that the masculine is starting to see as well, because the masculine energy burns out so fast. Whether you're feminine or masculine, the masculine energy within you burns out quickly, but masculine energy runs on a 24-hour clock and a feminine energy runs on a 28-day clock. So being mindful of how those energies are ebbing and flowing and being in sync with them really within yourself and tempering them is what's going to help you be able to truly manifest this abundant reality and to ground it into this space. But that will come only from taking that time away to work on your own things and to vocalize that for yourself. What guidance does the collective need at this time? Six of Voices. This is all kind of about that bridge, that taking a leap of faith and being able to vocalize and verbalize how to get from here to there. If you do not know, guess what? This is an exercise in faith. If you're at the edge of this precipice and the universe, God, divine, whatever you believe in, is asking you to take this leap of faith and you do not know how to do it, ask. Closed mouths do not get fed. If you do not know where you are in your relationship, what's going on, you feel chaotic, you feel ungrounded, you need that, learn to ask for what you need. It's uncomfortable. It truly, truly is. But only from having a willingness to lead in vulnerability will you be able to have your needs met. And again, this is something that me and my masculine are back and forth about all the time. And being conscious of this, I have to force myself to do it and recognize that this has been something that he has had trouble with himself his entire life, and he's very vocal about the fact that he has trouble with that. But being aware of his patterns, I know how to rise up and meet him within my own masculine feminine energy, and we've over time, it's taken years, been able to find that. But that's the thing, is you need to take the time not only to get to know yourself, but step back and observe your partner to see how it is that they're showing up. You may not know why. You honestly don't need to know why. If they're willing to share that with you, that's beautiful. If not, you truly don't need to know why they're showing up in a certain way to understand that that is either a self-protection mechanism, the way that they were raised and conditioned, some kind of trauma response. Just that awareness alone allows you to hold the space and be compassionate, be graceful towards your partner. And they see that in some way, shape, or form, you have done that for them because they are expressing gratitude for your patience with them. And truly, it has been an honor to be able to see and serve my masks in that way over the years, despite all of the challenges. So, continue holding that space for each other. Is there anything else we need to know before we close out? Yeah, that's a lot. It's all kind of the same message here. So we have 5 of materials reversed, the Tower, and the 8 of voices. So that feeling of being left out in the cold, that not being able to see through the darkness, that is going to be shaken up. And perhaps this was what you needed to hear, and that action on your part is what's going to break through the shadow, break through the darkness, break through this disempowerment and this lack mindset, so that you can move forward and get things going. Because on the other side here, we have the 4 of voices. That's all about healing and, again, breaking through this darkness to gain clarity. And outcoming with it is the 7 of inspiration and the awakening. Perhaps this simply is the message that you need to hear so that you can cut through your own bullshit, your own darkness, your own shadow, and have the clarity, have the rebirth within yourself and your connection, so that you can step out in a more powerfully, more self-aware space, taking that ownership of your own stuff and leading by example as you continue to heal and put the most authentic version of you out there. All right, this has been lovely. It feels so great to be back. Hopefully we can keep up some of this momentum as life grows, shifts, and changes. If you have comments, questions, or concerns, my inbox is open all the time. Please do go look at Rawn Wall Collective and follow along on that page if you're following my main page, Warrior Wildflowers, and vice versa. That way you don't miss out on anything, and the broadcast channel is there as well. If you're looking for more support, we share things from there time to time, as well as private readings and some other things. It's a very concentrated energy. It's a very beautiful group of people. It's very private. Nobody else really knows who's in there unless you interact on like polls and things like that. But we do a beautiful job at keeping this as a safe space and providing you with a environment in which you can really let down your walls and know that you aren't alone in this journey. All right, it's been great. See you soon.